Hey y'all, it's Chat with Kat, and notice I have a different sign. My Chat with Kat sign bit the dust, but it's okay because today I want to talk about peace anyway. And if you've been in the Elvis community lately, you've probably had your popcorn out, watching a lot of the passionate conversations going on. And I would like to suggest that we put the popcorn down and pick up our Elvis and get back to taking in Elvis. So, one thing I've noticed, and I'm not here to take sides or argue who's wrong, who's right, but I have noticed everybody is fighting hard for the truth. And it made me start wondering, and it's not just the Elvis world. People people want to, stand their ground on most any issue. Just as an observer of human nature, let's talk about why we are fighting so hard for the truth. So, the first thing that is probably the most prevalent as to why everybody's so passionate about Elvis is that he was more than a musical artist. He was more than an actor. He was more than a public figure. He was a part of our lives. And even if you weren't alive when Elvis was here, there's something about him that you've connected with. It's personal. For those of us who were alive when Elvis was here, you couldn't escape him. I mean, he was in the news all the time. He was performing all the time. Elvis was ubiquitous. And that's why it was so hard when he died, because what's a world without Elvis? I mean, he'd always been there. And so it's personal. Elvis was part of our marriages, our losses, our good times, our bad times. His music was always there, and it's very personal. So when someone says your version of Elvis is wrong, it can feel like your life experience is wrong. The second point I want to make, and why we are so passionate about discovering and learning more about Elvis, and the mystery kind of keeps him alive. As long as we are able to uncover and discover new facts, new information about Elvis, he's not frozen in history. We're still uncovering it. He's still prevalent and relevant. The third point, grief never really ends. And let me tell you, those of us who were alive when Elvis died, we grieved. The world grieved. Grief doesn't end. So the fans who were alive when we lost Elvis felt that deep sense of grief and mourning. And then you carry it on through the years. And then we lose Lisa Marie, who was a direct connection to Elvis. And it's hard. It's hard to take that. And I think we get very protective of that family and what it meant to each of us individually. Sometimes what sounds like anger could be grief that has no place to go. Dr. Phil always said, behind anger is fear. And so you have to really kind of whittle that down to find out what that seed of fear is. And the fourth point that I would like to make is YouTube rewards conflict. The louder the conflict, the better the algorithm. Drama spreads faster than quiet reflection. Strong emotions equal more clicks, more views. And I'm not saying that any YouTuber out there is specifically putting out content for clickbait, but I'm saying that the passion felt, and you all know where, there's a lot of passion everywhere, but it does create views. Give us your dirty laundry. That song makes a lot of sense. We want dirty laundry. We want to tune in and see what this person is saying, and tune in and see what they're going to say in retaliation. And, we got that popcorn out, right? Put the popcorn away. Let's pick up Elvis again. And then the point 5 is, it seems that emotions run high when we want to protect what Elvis meant to us. And the point is, everybody's different, and Elvis meant different things to different people. And as new people discover him, he will become a different meaning in that person's life. And so, is anybody wrong? No. It's your own personal connection. And boy, that just says a lot about Elvis. Not to be sacrilegious in any way, but he is kind of a modern day Jesus story, connecting to the millions, coming from nothing to greatness. Again, he would be the first to say he's not Jesus in any way, but he is kind of a Jesus story. Respecting Elvis does not require identical beliefs. Yes, we want the history told to be the true history. We do want that as fans. But we also have to consider that, especially the people who lived with Elvis and around Elvis and who knew Elvis, they all have their own individual personal connection. And who am I to say if this person's wrong, this person's right? I don't know. I wasn't there. I know what my connection was. I'll talk about that in a minute. So maybe the real truth is that Elvis meant something different to everybody. We don't have to agree in order to honor him. So I'd like to end this on a positive note and invite you to tell me in the comments, what does Elvis mean to you? Elvis the man, Elvis the performer, Elvis the musician, his music, pick anything. What does it mean to you? Why are you an Elvis fan? And I'll get the ball rolling. One aspect of Elvis that means a lot to me is his gospel music. It soothes my soul. And in those days when the outside world feels heavy, I can listen to Elvis sing How Great Thou Art or Crying in the Chapel, and it calms my soul. And for that, I'm grateful. Tell me about your connection to Elvis.